Jake Bright, BNY Mellon. Mr. President, I know you've had a unique position on your country's development vis-a-vis foreign aid and NGOs versus markets and trade and development. Could you please comment on that?
My comment on that is, I think I mentioned a bit of that earlier. Again, there is no conflict in terms of development, in terms of people being empowered to freely realize themselves and their aspirations. So, for Rwanda to develop, we have to have what we didn't have a number of years ago, to value ourselves and value each other and accept each other for whatever diversity there might be in our own society. We look to everyone to make a contribution for the well-being of the whole, of all of us. And that's why we make simple, but basic and straightforward choices for us. When we invest in education, when we invest in health, so that our people can have good health, when you do all this, it's about giving hope and possibilities to everyone to do what they want, to have the kind of life and live the kind of life they want to live. Now, so many of these activities require a lot of resources. There are resources that will come from people themselves or from the country, from the resources that can be mobilized within, or resources that will be mobilized from outside, where the outside world may render their support through different aid programs, or resources from private investment. So we don't discriminate as to the resources where they come from. Be it development aid, we welcome that. Private sector investments, absolutely. We want that to happen probably more than anything. So, but when it comes to aid, for example, our definition of it again and how we think it should work, even learning from different and past experiences, is any aid, any support will be more meaningful, will have a meaning if it builds capacities of people to be able to stand on their own and work and develop themselves. Aid should be accepted and invested in a certain way that tomorrow you don't need more aid, that you can be able to stand on your own based on what you've reaped from the efforts and what the previous aid gave you. This is our understanding. But private investment will give different possibilities to different people to so much depend on themselves, to be self-sufficient, to be able to do what they can do, to be able to have the future they want. So we really don't discriminate.
Lady over there.
Hello, Peggy Hicks with Human Rights Watch. To continue the discussion, hopefully not a lecture, I wanted to ask you, President Kagame, you spoke earlier about not having to trade off freedom of expression for other rights or other values. And I wanted to place that in the context of last year's elections, which you won by 93.8%. And there were no other political parties, the new opposition political parties were not allowed to stand, and many of the independent journalists' voices were silenced, and a number of those who were arrested remain imprisoned at this time. How do you square that with your belief that freedom of expression is being realized in Rwanda today?
Well, of course, lectures, I think that becomes part of them. But that has also been explained, I don't know how many times, to Human Rights Watch directly itself and to many others. But maybe, I don't know whether we should change the approach of asking the question and answering it, in a sense that I wish you took the time to put this question to the people of Rwanda and hear what they tell you. Because what I will tell you, what I will answer in relation to this may not interest you, because in your own way, you are also accusing me at the same time, or accusing the government or the leaders of Rwanda. But let me start by correcting a few things. Parties in Rwanda, political parties, there are about 10 of them. Now, it may be up to you to say, well, I don't like that party, I don't like the other one, it's not a party. So you've given yourself the mandate to be the one to qualify which becomes a party or which doesn't become in Rwanda. So there's nothing I can do about that. But for political parties or political activities anywhere, including here where we are seated, there are rules that are played by, that have been put in place by people. To the extent that some of these rules, I don't know whether, well, I don't need to start giving a lecture myself about other people's situations. But I know there are things that are unacceptable here or in Rwanda or anywhere else, especially when they work to the detriment of society, or if they are not in conformity with what the society have chosen as the rules and laws that govern them, then the rules and laws will apply. I don't think Rwanda will be an exception. So, 93%. In fact, I wonder why it wasn't higher than that. And I'm saying this because I'm talking of the context of Rwanda, please. Rwanda 17 years ago, that was totally destroyed. Absolutely. Millions displaced, millions refugees that we have to put back together. You see, this question about elections, about outcome, and so on and so on. Imagine this question of elections was even raised in 1994 in a country that half of the population was displaced or in exile. Right? Mm-hmm. So, to mean that sometimes issues are raised absolutely out of context. Now, let me tell you, you talk about the results of elections. Let me tell you something else. The turnout for elections in Rwanda, the turnout, the people who turned out to vote, of about the population that was eligible to vote was 5.4 million. 96% of them turned out to vote, freely, voluntarily. Now, you can question me about this and say, why did 96% of the people, your people, turn out to vote? I don't know. Ask them. I don't know why in countries the turnout may be 30%. But I may guess what it is. In some countries, people have lost appetite for politics or for electoral politics or for even electing their leaders. And they don't bother to go and vote, even in the developed countries. So you question about 96% turnout. you don't question 30% turnout, but they all happen for a reason. There is a reason why they happen like that. And the reason for Rwanda to have a turnout of 96% is because of where Rwanda is coming from. The tragedy of Rwanda of the other day, the whole country totally destroyed and are trying to build something. And they are saying, we want a fresh start. We want security. We want peace. We want democracy. We want development. And they come to express themselves. When they come to express themselves, again, they're expressing themselves on the basis of what the context is about and what the choices they have to make are about. It's the same people who have been behind these laws that govern Rwanda and govern electoral laws, electoral processes. These same people of Rwanda. You want to ask me why they turn out 93%? Ask them, why do they turn out 93%? Go there and investigate. They will tell you why. But you will choose to ignore them. But these are the people of Rwanda saying what they want. You may have a different opinion as Human Rights Watch, but the people of Rwanda, whose lives matter to them, have their say as well. There were 4 presidential candidates from 4 different political parties. What do you prefer to say? Oh, this is not the opposition. Well, it's not the opposition by your own definition, by your own account. I don't know what you want. I don't know whether what you want is what the Rwandans want. Now, if you are going to tell me that the right opposition for Rwanda is a leader who will come saying they want to do what was done in 1994, I will disagree with you. I say no. I don't think anybody goes looking for that kind of leader in any country that I know. So if there was a leader who comes and says, for me, my job is to stand for elections and do what these other people didn't do or what didn't finish, and you find they are connected with the same people of what happened and what they did in 1994, and you have laws in place to protect our society, I have no apologies to make about it. And I don't think Rwandans apologize for it. Neither should they. So whether you have a different view about it as Human Rights Watch, so be it. That's your business. That's your issue. There is Rwandan business too. There is what Rwandans want. It is Rwandans business. 11 million Rwandans sit and decide for themselves. They have values too, their own values, but they are very conscious of universal values that they must fit in as well. They do. Don't underrate the people of Rwanda. These ordinary people you see, listen to them and listen to what they want as well. So, thank you from Human Rights Watch.